Hello, I'm Sheryl McCarthy of the City University of New York. Welcome to One to One. Each week, we address issues of timely and timeless concern with newsmakers and the journalists who report on them, with artists, scientists, educators, social scientists, and government leaders. Each is one to one. I'm pleased to welcome public advocate Betsy Gotbaum to the program. For almost 8 years, she's been New York City's ombudswoman. Sometimes a thorn in the mayor's side, sometimes a rose, but she's never been far from the action. She's been in public service for most of her adult life. We'll discuss her work, why she's chosen not to run for a third term, and the challenges that lie ahead for her successor. Welcome.
Thank you.
Betsy, you were elected public advocate in 2001, the same year as Mayor Michael Bloomberg. How has the mood of the city and its problems or issues changed since you took office?
Well, it's a very good question, Sheryl, because of course when I took office, or when we took office in 2001, 2002 is actually when we took office, it was right after 9/11. And indeed, the election was on 9/11 and had to be postponed. So the mood of the city was really strange. I mean, everybody was very worried. We were all pulling together. Everybody wanted New York to succeed. The mayor came in, took charge right away. I mean, I think that there were lots of similar problems in terms of mood and worrying about the city and were we going to get back, whether the economy was going to fail. All of those things were there then, and then we bounced back and we had years of great prosperity and a great mood. I see the city as always able to confront any problem, and we'll shrug it off like New Yorkers, and we'll get to work and we'll try to make things better. But in the end, I think we'll succeed. And I think that happened when we first took office after that horrible incident that had never happened in this country before. I think now we're facing a completely different kind of crisis, but I think New York and New Yorkers will pull through.
Now, you are only the second public advocate. Mark Green was the first.
Right.
And some, would say, I think, that the office seemed to have somewhat greater visibility previously. I mean, I remember Mark Green would come out periodically with these big reports, sort of investigative reports on, some city agency that wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing, about some city problem that, needed to be addressed right away, and it would be introduced with a lot of fanfare. It would get a lot of press attention. That has not been the style of your office. Now, is that because of just a different style of operating, or does it have anything to do with a difference in resources in the office?
Oh, no. Well, first of all, let me say that we have done just almost as many reports as Mark Green has done. And we have had many, many press conferences. We have looked into many city agencies, particularly the Department of Education, HRA, done a lot of very serious, well-received reports. It's a very different administration than when Mark Green was public advocate. Mark Green had Mayor Giuliani as a mayor, and the two of them were always at each other's throats. And you needed somebody who was as vociferously against some of the policies of the Giuliani administration as Mark was, and he was very effective at that. And I would not take that away from him. I've had a very different experience. Michael Bloomberg is a very different kind of mayor. It doesn't mean to say that he is perfect in everything, and where I believe some of the agencies have not been doing what they're supposed to do, I have been very much out there. Part of the problem is that sometimes the press isn't as interested in some of the reports and issues that we talk about, and other times,
or if there isn't as much conflict, perhaps
there's not as much conflict. And frankly, I'm not as loud, and I'm not as interested in getting press as others may be. And I have a very different kind of atmosphere and relationship. And my focus on the office has really been, it's very different from Mark's. And it has to be different because I have a very different time period. I mean, different kind of time period. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I focused on the ombudswoman's function of the office. We get calls, daily calls in to our office. People thought with 311 that our office would no longer get any calls and we'd be irrelevant. Quite the contrary, we get just as many calls as we got before. What we do is we take people through a problem. If you call about your water bill being too high, we will actually work through with you to try to figure out why your water bill is too high, and oftentimes we can get it reduced. Then often what happens is that we find that it's a citywide problem.
Right.
And with the citywide problem, we then do a big report, we do a press conference, and my focus and emphasis has been on that. And in the last couple of years, we've seen the calls in the Department of Education, in HRA, for example, skyrocket from the first couple of years. And part of that has been my work in education, which has been a big emphasis of mine, and the fact that there really are problems in HRA, and people are frustrated and they do call us. So it's a different style, yes. It's a different emphasis on how the office should be run, and it's who I am. I mean, I am not a press hound, and I don't. There's nothing I can do about that, and I don't regret it. I mean, it's just the way it is.
How big is your staff, and what kind of budget are we looking at?
The staff is about 41 right now. The budget has gone from when I first came in, it was $2.6 million. Now you have to understand something. It's now a little under $3 million. That's going down in next year's budget. We're a citywide office. To run a citywide office, to have a $3 million budget is pretty sparse. You're getting a lot for your money. If you talk to some of the people that we help, you know what? People who say this office isn't relevant, that's just not true. If you look at some of the projects that we have had and done work on, like food stamps, and the number of people that have increased getting food stamps, I believe as a result of the efforts of our office, you can't say that this isn't an important office. And it's only $3 million at the most. By the way, one of the things I'm going to be working on as much as I can is to try to get this office an independent budget, like the independent budget office, so that you can't have it fluctuate the way it fluctuates. It's not right. This is supposed to be, the office is to be the watchdog over the mayor's programs. And if that's the job, the mayor should not be controlling the budget of the public advocate.
Now, the independent budget office, what determines that budget? Is it a percentage? Or
they get a percentage of the Office of OMB, Office of Management budget. And I think we should, because I think our relationship with the council, I think we should get a percentage of the council's budget. And by the way, I'm not asking for the moon. I'm actually asking for even a little bit more, because I would like to have the ombuds function on a much larger basis. We are only 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, because we're very small.
Right.
But we really show the need. There's a need to have this, much more, 24 hours, perhaps less than 24 hours, but certainly some on weekends. And I believe that's an important function for the office, and that's why one of the reasons we would ask for more in an independent budget.
You've served in a number of public service capacities. I mean, you were too many to name here,
right.
But including Parks Commissioner under Mayor Dinkins, you're head of the New York Historical Society. Why did you decide to run for public advocate, and at a time when some people were saying, as you said, that we really don't need this office?
Well, first of all, I had always had a little hankering to run for office. I'd never done it. I'd sort of been around the political world. I was Parks Commissioner, and I thought it was a fantastic job, and I loved the kind of interaction of the New York community out there, and my colleagues in government. So I thought, it was open. Mark Green couldn't run again, and I decided to run because I really wanted to help people, and I thought that this office was an office that could, in fact, help people, and that's in fact been my focus, really trying to help people. Again,
and really a direct service function.
A direct service function to help people that have no place else to turn. And to me, the thing I'm most proud of is I believe that if more people knew about this office and knew about the function, they would call us, because we get people who are so frustrated, they don't know where to turn, they don't know how to get things done, and I believe that that's something my office does very effectively.
Now, will calling 311 get them to you? Or
sometimes.
Do you have your own number that you want to tell people about?
Oh, we have our own number.
Okay.
But 311 often refers people to our office.
Okay.
When somebody calls with a problem they can't resolve by being referred to an agency, they can call us at 212-669-7200. That's a pretty easy number to remember. But we do get referrals from 311. And the more people that know about our service and how we help people, the more important it is.